Hi, I'm Brandy Williams, founder of Williams Accounting and Tax Services in McDonough, Georgia. We're a full-service accounting firm proudly serving clients nationwide, including military families and U.S. expats. With over 20 years of experience as an IRS-enrolled agent, we've got you covered from past tax returns to business services and strategic tax planning. Visit WilliamsActTax.com. Let's get connected and take your finances to the next level.
Hope y'all didn't see that on camera, but you may have. All right, what's up, you guys? This is your girl Erica from the Class Con Blog. I had wanted to do this earlier, but today has been a day. Birthdays. We found out one of our friends' moms passed away. It's been a day. It's just life be lifing. Do you know what I mean? Life be lifing. Okay, so and there's nothing you can do about that. But come on in, drop your CD and stay in the chat. And before I talk, yes, the land grab special. Grab you that land grab Black Friday. Why? We're closing out the year really strong on this because next year is going to be a lot of year of construction projects and some events, some beautiful events to close out such a beautiful chapter. So you can grab that there. You can also book calls there. The calendar limits to 45 days in advance. So we're going to have that cut off here pretty soon for when I'm gone. But anyway, funding bundle. Listen, we've helped people get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in funding by following steps. This stuff is all template. A lot of stuff you're seeing online, people are like, yeah, you can get $100,000 in credit cards and funding. Not if you don't have a matching account or matching level or a few other things to help you out. Now, we definitely walk through some steps there to help you kind of balance out your portfolio and your profile. You can check it out for yourself. We've been doing this for years. At the end of the day, you want it or you don't. I know there's new people that come into this channel every year and every month and every day. So I always make sure you're available to see the links and things you want. Boom. All right, let's get into it. So you see the title, The Great Depression and the Harlem Renaissance happen at the same time. This is a K-shaped recovery. It's always been a K-shaped recovery. The difference is, and I have tons of videos and stuff to show, is I'm going to say this as the overall premise, and I'm going to say it again later in the channel. You had a lot of white Americans playing a paper game, trying to be in stocks and bank CDs and things at the bank and taking their paycheck down to the bank and, getting their check from the mill. And so when they were wiped out, they were wiped out. It was paper wealth. But Black people were what? Not always having access to jobs, had a lot of service jobs, porter. Again, I've told y'all about the 1920s and 1910s in America. 87% of the people who could fix everything were Black people. Okay. From you name it, the patents that came out from the Civil War to the 1930s, 50,000 patents came from Black African Americans. Foundational Americans, as they would say. And the reason that's important is because these are the people who actually could build and fix and grow. Now, also at that same time, here's what happened. We had always had cash. We knew how to grow crops in our backyards and our side of our houses and on porches and in Harlem and in Brooklyn and wherever we were, we could grow something, right? There's a TV show on HBO that did really well it was a miniseries called Lackawanna Blues. It's based off a book. And this is the truth. If you look back, a lot of integration killed necessity. Now, what do I mean? You had a lot of Black boarding houses. This is why when you go into Chicago, when you go into parts of Indiana, parts of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a lot of these places where, let's just go there. People were running to the north, but when they got there, realized, oh, we're really still segregated. We're not even on that side of town or offered the same jobs. You had a lot of multi-family housing done creatively and done structurally. So what's happening is when you go on LoopNet, when you go on realtor.com, you start seeing all these older properties from older Black people that have 4 and 5 rooms. None of it's been permanent. You have 4 or 5 units in something has never been permanent. It's just grandfathered in. That Ace Invest that I always show y'all, a lot of the stuff he buys are from old Black landlords. That's the part he doesn't talk to you about. He buys a lot of stuff from old Black landlords who essentially they inherited some property that really, unless they tear it down and build something new, they're kind of stuck with these properties that are not legally okay, right? And so what you had is you had Black people being able to fix things, Black people providing housing to each other, paying rent on Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, think about it, brownstones, huge properties, right? You see some of them brownstones now, you're like 6 rooms. What would I do with all that? Well, your grandparents rented the rooms out. That's what they did. Okay. That's why the Harlem Renaissance was so robust. People took everything they could sell and run on their backs or run where they could up north. So you had this chaos is good kind of theory where you had all this intermingling, this interchanging. And if you look back, why were the black people dressed so well? Who could sew? Who could bake? Who could make things? Who repaired stuff for white ladies? Before you had all these Asian ladies owning laundromats and sewing machines and sewing up clothes, it was older black ladies. Older black ladies doing sewing, older black ladies fixing clothes, older black ladies doing all this stuff. We were the economic engine of this country. No matter who tries to play it like, oh, black people been lazy and poor and down. That's not true. How do you know not true? Look up the 1920s race riots. You could go all over the United States. Every single one of those cities had very well-to-do economic black people, had their own schools, had their own vehicles, cars, planes, trains, you name it, we were doing it. This is the same thing here in parts of the Southeast, the Choctaw Indians, the Asians, later they put down in the South. These people had to work with their neighbors. They had to work with their neighbors, okay? So when you go back and look at the race riots, why were the race riots so devastating? We didn't have insurance. This is why when Martin Luther King, the day before he was unalive, said, we need to start putting all our banks in our own insurance. That was the money death knell right there. When they heard that, they're like, oh no, we got to get him hushed because he almost bankrupted the busing system. We are the liquid money. See, it is advantageous to this whole country that people be economically unaware. What happened to all these white people that were very angry in the South that lost all their money, and in the Midwest and the farm areas that went farm bust? They were playing the banking game and they didn't have enough money. They just didn't have enough money and they didn't have enough assets to play that game. So I'm just going to say overall, again, what you're going to see over the next 5 years in this K-shaped recovery is going on right now is literally who fixes things, who owns a home, who's taking care of people, okay? And 4, who owns the company. I want y'all to understand, if you can fix things as a man in this country, there's no limit to what you can do. There's no limit to the money you can make. It's just your time and your health, right? And we joke, you see a lot of these older black people, an older black man, older white man, just drinking energy drinks and donuts in the morning, right? Like it's a whole market to work on their health. But that's if they have a wife who even cares, right? If they're a lone single man, baby, they about to be out of here. One more cheeseburger, right? This is why a lot of drivers are being turned away because they have to sleep with sleep app machines, right? We can't insure those people. So it's like the black person's like, I can drive, but sir, you're 400 pounds with no neck. We cannot put you in a truck. We cannot put you on a roof. We can't put you on a construction site. You know, there has to be some balance there, okay? So just remember that. That's the framework. I'm going to bring that up again, but let's go through all this lovely being footage I have. I'm going to show you several things. Let's start here. Let me start here because I have so many. We got to close some of these windows. Pretty sure the computer's getting a little slow. Right. Okay, let's go here first. Just to show you an example why it's so powerful. This is money. Y'all see this and y'all be like, oh, Erica, you're showing this self-sufficient home thing. Oh, wait, is it playing the audio? Let me see. It sure ain't. Oh, that's right. This one had a music. Can't do it. All right. So they had 1/4 acre. Now you're gonna say, Erica, that's a lot. It's actually not. It's actually not. When you're talking about the Southeast, it's actually not. This is 1/4 acre, 30 different trees on 1/4 acre, 2 rows in between the trees, right? Where they're gonna put crops, potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, beans, winter squash. Now you're gonna say, Erica, well, I don't want to do this. I live in the city. I don't want to have a home. I don't want to deal with chickens. I don't want to deal with tractors. You don't have to. Let me be very clear. You just partner with those people. They have honey. They have it all. You just partner with those people. We don't have to there's literally a neighbor down my mom's street who has a bunch of bees, honey, and sells it. Okay. This is out of a 50 by 200 foot space where they've planted all this. So you're trying to tell me that you think your family and members and other people, and there's countless stories of this where people have the deeds to lands in East Texas, Mississippi, Alabama. They were run off by the Klan. They go to court and the judge is like, baby, let me tell you, them people gonna kill you. Yeah, legally you own this land, but they're gonna kill you. So what happens after a couple of years? They're gonna say you abandoned, they're gonna pay the taxes, all that stuff happened. Now there's a little bit more news, there's a little bit more media, but also there's partnering with people who live like this. You don't have to live like this, right? Our friend who lives in Dallas, he has a whole farm in Louisiana. We buy meat from him and other items and other veggies and chicken, right? So it's one of these things like you don't have to live like this, but I'm just going to tell you on the scale of wealth, this is included, okay? I just want to start it with this and also just this diagram picture. Okay, so this is 1 acre. Many of you can be like, Erica, 1 acre. Like, this is a 1 acre. Okay, there's millions of little diagrams. They do shows on this where they build these little 1 acre layouts, rotational crop stuff. Why am I showing you this? He who can be what? Self-sufficient or go to town and what? Barter, trade. You know how this stuff goes, y'all. Let's not act brand new. The guy or girl who has the capacity to be able to stick with it, stay with it. You know, a lot of the people, you know, make fun of old farmers, but when we're in North Carolina, we see an old black guy on the side of the road with watermelons, pumpkins, whatever. We stop and buy from him because we know that money goes straight to him. We even ask questions sometimes. Like sometimes we see the Latinos out there, like, what y'all doing? Who farm is this from? They let you know. But at the end of the day, we mostly just buy from the old black farmer on the side of the road. You don't need a lot. This is their retirement money right here. Okay. Let me go to the next one. Let me play this for you. I'm gonna play this one for you right here. Okay. Here we go.
And Oklahoma is a unique space in terms of the number of African-American towns that were established. Some suggest upwards of 50 African-American towns between 1924 and 1928. Reverend S.S. Jones was going around documenting this sort of self-determined, vibrant African-American communities. You see the African-American educators, doctors, lawyers, landowners, oil barons. And I think that's what's so remarkable about this footage. To think that individuals, how many years out of slavery, are now owning oil wells that are producing 2,000 barrels a day. Is that not the ultimate American dream? Is that not the ultimate American story? It flies in the face of what I think some people consider part of African-American history and culture. And I think that that was one of the things that Oklahoma and what S.S. Jones is really kind of showing is that African-American history and culture is not a monolith. And in a way, it became kind of like a marketing tool to encourage individuals to migrate, to move there, that this is a place where you can live, you can thrive, and peacefully reside. There were still palpable racial tensions. There are lynchings, there's Jim Crow, segregation, there's all of these things, and you still have an African-American community or many communities that really speak to the fortitude and resilience of Black people in this country.
So anyway, this is in the Smithsonian. You can see a lot of this. Again, a lot of this stuff was burnt in a lot of these cities, you guys. That's the unspoken part. Let me play this as well. Now, this is going to be people saying, okay, this, you know, y'all were suffering. Here we go.
For Black America, the struggle was even deeper. Shut out of New...
Oh, just sorry.
The Great Depression hit hard, but for Black America, the struggle was even deeper. Shut out of New Deal programs, first to be fired, last to be hired, yet resilience was non-negotiable. Black communities built their own safety nets, mutual aid societies, Black-owned businesses, and a cultural explosion in the Harlem Renaissance. They didn't just survive, they thrived against the odds. From the Pullman porters demanding fair wages to sharecroppers organizing for justice, the fight never stopped. The Great Depression exposed America's racial divide, but Black resilience, that was unstoppable. The Great Depression hit hard.
Okay, now you can go find countless on this, but let me go some more. One more.
The Harlem Renaissance is one of the most iconic cultural periods in African American history. Throughout the decade of the 1920s, Black writing, art, and music flourished, ushering in a cultural revolution that rocked the United States.
One of the most important factors that accounted for the rise of what we know of as the Harlem Renaissance is the migration of Black peoples from the South to urban centers like Harlem.
The Jim Crow era began after Reconstruction, and every Southern African American had to think about, what should we do? Should we go or should we stay? For many of these people, it was a matter of life and death, literally.
Sometimes in the most repressive times, we create the most extraordinary art.
Amidst the fervor of the Great Migration, bold, exciting forms of Black music evolved, along with venues to listen and dance to this music. Blues and jazz clubs became a central part of life in Harlem, where artists such as Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington, Bessie and Mamie Smith rose to prominence.
Began to cry. He went away and never even said goodbye.
The era also saw the burgeoning of literary work by and about African Americans, which the writer Alain Locke compiled into an anthology. He called it The New Negro, and its name came to define a movement.
The Harlem Renaissance is a facet of a larger movement that we think of as the New Negro movement, where you have a new generation of Black people, by this point, 2 generations out of slavery, using the arts as a way to help people gain broader civil and political rights.
Some of the framers of what became the Renaissance make the argument that the artistic worth of a people has to be proven by the worth of the art and literature they produced, especially for people that historically, over centuries, have been defined as without culture, without history, and without any record of achievement.
Did you hear that? I just want you guys to remember, this has been a song and dance that America has played. Now, I'm going to go there. Now the Jamaicans and now the Haitians, well, y'all don't got no culture. It's like, baby, everything you dressing up, everything that your hair, your texturizer, your clothes, your shirt, how you walk down the street, everything you're trying to do, you're trying to be us. Knock it off. I was wearing a cowboy hat in the store and somebody said, "Oh, look at you." I said, "Yes, thank you." And kept on walking. I just kept on walking like baby, where I'm from, the Black people are cowboys. The Indians are cowboys. All right. And you just keep it moving. Now I could go on and on playing some of that, but there's several clips I want to pull up. I just want you to understand, like, why was it so robust when they got there? When people move to a new city, they want to see what's going on, where they're jumping at, where the activity, where the noise, where the people. That's why it was such a movement. That's why even if you read about W.D. Du Bois and all these people, some of these people, younger writers, were living in boarding houses in Harlem. Like, let's stop making this like this. Everybody had their own apartment. No, they were living in these boarding houses that Black people had. So I keep letting you guys know, how did the Black people look so good up there? Because they were the ones doing their suits. They were the one doing alterations. When I talk to young Black people now about getting a suit or clothes, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to go to the mall or JCPenney." No, we all used to know somebody Black who sews. I still got blankets from my grandma who's been passed on for almost 20 years. They still held up all these years. Now there's 1 or 2 we got them tightened up on the edges. But again, the skills that we had in this country is what built this country. You have dusty, crusty people trying to tell you that African Americans, what did they do for this country? Everything. From the food to the clothes to the music. And to this day, we still are everything. And people are like, "Well, Erica, why are you being like this?" Listen, I don't run from the slavery talk. I don't run from it. I told y'all I'm actually a descendant from a woman who owned a plantation. When the Civil War broke out, her slave saved her life, and she married one of them because she was an Indian woman. How do I know? Documentation that I found from the state the plantation is in. Literally, the government coming to her door, making her sign her name, showing that her husband had died, and she was now the owner and sole controller of the plantation. But everybody want to tell you that everybody they know was Black and poor and degraded. No, that's not true. That's not true. This is why I show y'all the numbers up here. This is why I show y'all the data, because 36% of homes are making over 100,000 a year. But if you listen out here, nobody Black make that kind of money. We's all so poor. No, the people you know are poor. The people you know ain't been on shit for their whole life. Let's really go there. There's a football player saying he bought his mama a house. Your mama 50 years old. She ain't got a house now. She didn't have a house when you was a little kid, when you was a baby. She ain't had 2 years of work history and a program to help her get a house. See, y'all don't want to hear it. My mom's on multiple houses at this point. That's why I'm like, and when she was married, when she was divorced, when she got remarried, like, it's good. I don't know what your mamas was doing. I'm not disrespecting them. They probably had to do everything they can to keep a roof over your head and keep y'all fed. But this is a math equation. This ain't just a, well, your family's lucky equation. No, this is a math equation. You know what I'm saying? That's what she was doing, waiting on them to succeed. That's what a lot of these parents are doing. Invest in the bare minimum. I was going to play this clip for y'all earlier where somebody said that the kids is coming to school. They don't even know how to wipe their own butt. They wearing diapers in kindergarten. I said, I believe it. I absolutely believe it, because this is how raggedy people are. There's no community. There's no one to shame you. Like, hey, why is your son doing this? Oh, leave him alone. Like, no, baby, we got to talk about it. Why is your son doing this? Why are your children acting this way? There has to be conversation. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up for y'all. Shit, that's not the one I need. Hold on a second, y'all. I'm trying to pull it up. I got too many windows open. I got to close some of these windows. Which computer just die. Hold on, I'm getting to it. I promise. Okay, here we go. I got that one coming up. All right, let me let me go here. Can y'all see this? Black household wealth surged 60% since 2020. Fastest growing immigrant routed by interest in businesses and stocks. Now y'all gonna be like, well, some of this is immigrant and some of this is this. Listen, y'all, stop. Once we stepped into the lane of where we can start learning stocks and crypto and bonds and all this other stuff, that's next level. But I'm telling you, I just watched a video earlier on Patreon by David Williams, retail trailer, really good. A lot of people, y'all make fun. Y'all be like, yeah, black businesses don't have no employees. And that's a talking point that cracks me up. I know too many black people who are making $200,000 a year. Yeah, they ain't got no employees, but also their business is seasonal. They don't care. I know right now a guy who is a government contractor. He made him 1.7 mil the other year. He ain't got no employees. It's all outsourced. You think he care that y'all talking about he need to have some employees? No, he don't care. He just follows the system. What works? Applying to the government, give me a contract, and outsource the work. Middleman to millions. Y'all hate the title. Y'all be hating on me for using the title for all these years, but I'm the number one person who uses it. There's 2 or 3 people who made a YouTube channel after I talked about it and made it the title of their channel. Congratulations. I see you. But I've literally talked about it into the ground. I published works on it, articles on it. And if I can get this other publishing thing right, it'll be trademarked. So anyway, I don't think y'all understand what's going on out here. Here's another one. This is the world top richest black people. You're like, well, it's got to be all Africans. It's got to be all Africans because the Africans are just doing so great. Stop, y'all. Stop. Y'all sound real weird out here. Knock it off. Y'all sound weird. Now, is Mr. Nigeria here? Yes. God bless him. He's right here. Nigeria's over here as well. God bless him. David Stewart. Okay. 11.4. Robert Smith. 10.8. Alex Karp. Mama black is this, look like this, but daddy is Jewish. So you know what happens. White zone out. Okay. White. Y'all, half y'all cousins is at the family Thanksgiving with the half white children. So don't say nothing about it. Okay. Because a lot of y'all be like, well, they not black. Start talking to your brothers and your cousins. If you got a problem with how Alex Karp look, talk with your brothers and your cousins, because that's who's making it happen. Like they trying to break Blake Griffin's career. They trying to make 47 Blake Griffins. Okay. Knock it off. We don't want to hear it. If you have a problem with the way he looks, take it up with your cousins and your brothers who are doing the same. Here's another Nigeria. Here's Michael Jordan. Here's a South African. Here's Oprah. And here's USA. Now I got another one. Hold on. Production companies. Erica, black people don't make no TV shows. They don't do nothing. Okay, here we go. Jordan Peele, Spike Lee, Charles the King, Issa Rae, Lena Waithe. She's a weirdo. Ava DuBree, Kevin Hart, Will Packer, the Obamas. Forrest Whitaker and this Asian lady in Bangkok making fighter movies. Tyler Perry. Okay, let's keep going. Shonda Rhimes, one of the richest, got 3 daughters. They'll be rich too. Proximity, Ryan Coogler, LeBron James, excuse me. And Maven Carter have Spring Hill. Courtney Kemp, Megamind, Michael B. Jordan that made so much money off the movies. Boom, here you go. Jamie Foxx, Jada and Will Pickett Smith. It's just like, I want to know the witchery she got. That's crazy. Marsha Martin, young people. Oh, here ain't nobody got. Look again, Regina and Rena King, her sister, and her. Okay, more. Kerry Washington, and she. If I have to watch her cry ugly one more time, another movie, I'll scream. Donald Glover, Atlanta TV shows. Like again, there's people out here producing content. There's countless people producing Tubi movies. Okay. So when everybody keeps sitting here acting like, well, black people ain't doing nothing, they ain't doing nothing. Stop. Please. Y'all gotta stop. You must be delivered. The Great Depression and Harlem Renaissance happened at the same exact time. Why? Because the people who are making things, sewing things, building things. Hold on. Cut it out in there. Building things, developing things, doing real estate, they're still gonna make money. If I could show y'all behind the curtain, which I talk about my inner circle and I talk about land grab course, the millions of dollars I just met 4 or 5 black people make off real estate, they ain't even on social media like that. They do a little bit, and some of y'all are guessing at how much they make, but I promise you, the real estate is even if you say, Erica, owning a house ain't for me. Owning a house ain't for me, Erica. I ain't never seen myself owning a house. No problem. I'm telling y'all, the amount of people I know who own about 4 group homes on average, or I'm gonna just be honest with you, about 3 group homes, and they make $1.5 million a year off 3 group homes. It's bananas. So again, it's gonna be who cares for people, who's building stuff, who's developing stuff. That's who's gonna have say. And I don't think y'all ready for this. Y'all say, oh, I just want to have a better paying job, Erica. Nothing wrong with that. You can have a better paying job, but you need to figure out where that money gonna go. How you gonna make it move? Because that is your only capital to make you move forward, is that job. 2025 data reveals 2 out of every 36 Black Americans are millionaires. Now you're gonna say, well, is this Pew Research report? Roughly 2 million adults have a net worth of 1 million more. This equals out 2 of every 36 blacks. Now you're gonna say, but who did the report? I need to know. Listen, y'all, the IRS, CDC, these people own houses. Do you know how many women I have talked to via this channel who own houses in the DC area? And they like, girl, my house worth $600,000. I bought it back in the 90s. And I be on the phone with them like, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. I'm tired of working in government. If I could tell y'all how many women I've talked to in that capacity, like every time when they be like, these women gonna die alone. Yes, in their very decorated house with their cars and they stuff. Yes, they're gonna be well cared for with their house caregiver dying alone. Like, I just want you to know, like, if you can see the living assistance, like there were 2 older ladies we met in Las Vegas. I'm talking about in their 60s. They own group homes. Just balling. Just 2 little older Black ladies going to the games, having a great time. And I don't think y'all understand. He who owns the house, he who has real wealth, not just paper wealth, not just stock market wealth. It's like Monopoly. You have to do something with these monies. Is going to win. That's just is what it is. Like, people don't like me saying this stuff, but I promise you, the more you come out here, you're going to see that that's what's going on out here. A lot of people are not ready for that conversation. They just aren't. Let me keep it moving. Let me go here. Here we go. This is the one they're going to get me off the internet for. Here we go. Okay. Power of the black dollar. 2023 Black-owned business in the United States generated over $206 billion. At the same time, Black consumers had $1.6 to $1.7 trillion. Black America spending power was more than Mexico, more than Indonesia, more than the Netherlands, more than Saudi Arabia. Gonna go see that woman about a horse, huh? Woohoo! Sorry, we have family members in the background doing stuff. Okay, so again, When people sit here and tell you, oh, I'm going to live in Mexico, I'm going to live in Costa Rica, I'm going to live all these places, I just laugh. I go, if you're not doing well here, if your family's doing bad, like generationally, like y'all keep doing bad, like no one in your family can get it together. Not one person went in the military for 3 years and got, a little VA loan. Nobody got a little disability. Like nobody got it together. Baby, go on and go. Go on and go. Somebody said something in the comments today that cracked me up so bad. Basically, I said, I posted a post. I troll post y'all all the time on the community wall. I was like, 40-year-old men don't look for 18-year-old boys to be their friends, but they think 18-year-old women are their wives. Erica, you're just hating because biologically men want we like young girls. Listen, stop. Just stop. There's like countless men online, like, as you get older, your taste grow and change with you. Anybody who tells you they're still chasing a 15 to 18-year-old, because that's really what they're doing if they say 18, something's wrong. Something's wrong with that man. Something stunted there. We can look at stuff and we can keep it moving. But this guy's like, I don't see many 40-year-old women active in the gym and in clubs and all the bars. Listen to me. I want y'all to stop that. I lived in Austin, Texas, where 30 to 52 was outside every day in the gyms, in the run clubs. If you're not looking for something, you won't find it. So whenever I hear black men say, I don't see black women in the gym, you weren't looking for that. Let's go there. You're looking for Betty and big booty Latina in the gym. There's nothing wrong with that. You can look at that all day and you can find it. I did a test. I told y'all this test on this channel. I said, you know what? For 2 weeks, I'm going to look for black men in tech. Every day I saw 2-3 black men. In a city like Austin, where you're like, it's not that many black people. Every day I saw 2-3 black men in the quarter zip with the little name badge on their hip. I'm like, oh, where do you work? EA Sports. Where do you work? This tech place. Hey, where do you work? Dale. I work at this place. I work at this tech place. Every day. Because I was looking for it. So what we have in our society is people playing dumb with us. I never see black women over 40. I don't see them. I can't find them. You're not looking. Whenever you hear a woman say, I can't find no good men, that's not what you're looking for, sis. Because if I ask these same sisters, where is the basketball schedule for these teams? Oh, girl, they be over here at the strip club, over here, they be at this club. And when they get out, they be over here. How do you know that? I was just on court seats in Las Vegas last week. I turned around and saw Lovey and Slim off YouTube. I turned around to my left, see another couple people off YouTube. I turned to my right. I see a couple more people off YouTube. I started laughing. I see this white lady. I know this white lady got big money because everybody come by dapping her up. I'm talking about the TNT Sports News crew, the women, they like the basketball players. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? I said, it didn't take me 2 seconds to run over her. Like, oh, you must be big money. And she started laughing. This white lady had bedazzled Raiders on. I can't say her name, but if I say her name and y'all Google her, y'all be like, damn, she rich, hella rich. And everybody in there kept coming by to shake that woman's hand. Y'all find who y'all want to find. There are over 6 black run clubs in Austin, Texas. When they sit here and look you dead in your eyes, I can't find black women that work out in their 30s and 40s. There's 6 run clubs in a city of less than, I can't remember how many thousands of black people. Knock it off. Knock it off. It's real pathetic. It's sounding worse. It sounds like you're creeping at high schools at this point. I don't see these women at bars. What kind of bar are you at? You at the teenager bar? Where are you at? I just had to go on a side road for this little segment. I'm probably going to cut this segment, but I really want y'all to understand how y'all sound. And don't think it's lost on me that now that somebody's been injured, they got a black woman on their arm too. I mean, it just is what it is. We seen it. This is why I made Odell Beckham the cover of the video. Everybody got Ray Charles eyes. Black people so poor. They are. If you're a white person saying that, that's because you're looking for poor black people. You're looking for poor black people. You're not looking for wealthy black people. You're poor yourself. That's what that means. If that's all you see. Run clubs in Houston always be booming. Oh, man, you got like 10 black run clubs in Houston. I go to the gym several times. There's always black women in there. Always on the gym or Stepmaster. Like, girl, you done stepped that booty to the hills. Get on off that Stairmaster, girl. Yeah, they don't want to be challenged. They don't want to grow. They want to stay 22 in their mind forever. It's fine. It's fine. They're everywhere. It's pathetic. When I hear this shit, I'll be like, ugh, disgusting. Here we go. I'm going to play this one as well. I just want y'all to be offended all night. I don't care.
The difference between old money and new money isn't just time, it's proximity to whiteness. And that proximity has shaped how legacies were built and who they were built for. Old money in Black America is rare. We're talking families who built wealth before the Civil Rights era, often through business ownership, land, or education. New money usually comes from first or second generation wealth earners, athletes, entertainers, entrepreneurs, corporate executives who broke into high income brackets in the last few decades. Both face unique challenges, but the early Black elite often survived by aligning closely with white societal norms, the respectability politics of dress, speech, and education. For early Black wealth, proximity to whiteness wasn't just about assimilation, it was just about survival. Joining certain clubs, attending predominantly white schools, and adopting Eurocentric standards as a way to gain access to capital, contracts, and protection in a segregated society. But the cost? Sometimes it meant distancing from Black cultural spaces, movements, and even extended family, creating a class divide inside our own community. New money in Black America plays by a different set of rules: social media, cultural capital, and direct-to-consumer brands that mean you can build influence and wealth without asking for permission from old gatekeepers. But here's the twist. Some new money still seeks validation from old white institutions, buying into the same country clubs and circles as old money, instead of building independent Black wealth ecosystems. The real question isn't old money or new money, it's whether we're using that wealth to reinforce systems that excluded us or to build ones that are ours. If you want more deep dives of how culture and capital shape Black wealth, subscribe to Creativity Meets Capital, the link in my bio. Let's build legacies that don't need anyone's permission.
Okay, she's got good points, but I want to point out that we've always had Jack and Jills. We've always had Black societies. We've even had the Black fraternities. I want to pull this video because this girl roasted this guy so good, because this is, I'm trying to think of how nice to say this. There really isn't a nice way to say this. You have a lot of Black people who are growing up in the suburbs, but not in Black experience, and they're talking loudly, and you should check them at all times. Even me, when I say stuff, my family and significant others be like, that ain't, don't do that. And I'm okay with that. Because sometimes you have to check people like, hey, where you, what are you talking about? Right? You're incorrect. So this is a prime example of this. I want to share this with y'all. This is the first one.
You can't talk about the D9.
Let's have it out. Let's have it out right now.
You
Why?
can't talk
what
about
do you
it
think the difference is?
because you didn't go through a process.
I didn't.
You don't understand it.
I didn't.
You're not in it.
I'm not.
You're just a spectator.
I'm on the side.
You're just a wannabe. Because I could be like, my sister went to HBCU. I was always around.
Here's the only day. Which HBCU did she go to?
She went to Spelman.
Did they have a band? Exactly.
Oh no, my parents. Can I just say this though? This is the only credibility I'll give myself for
What?
that. Every year, my parents took us to the Gremlin Prairie View game.
Okay.
We used to go to the game every single year. So I grew up going to Battle of the Bands.
I grew up around this. I grew up with, you can't help in Baton Rouge, but grow up around these sororities and fraternities.
But you're not.
You can't
You're
help.
not of it.
I'm
you didn't
not of it.
experience it, so you can't. Like the way
But
that
I
you
was
really
there
try.
when the Kappas and the Qs fought. I was there to watch the AKAs. I was there when I was there. I was there when the Deltas came back to campus. I was there. What I'm saying is, I don't have an opinion about the inner workings of these organizations, but culturally, I can have an opinion because they are a part of the culture that I grew up in.
The only cultural understanding you have about the D9 is what happened the years that you were at Southern
That's
University.
not true.
You have and the fact
that's really not true, though.
and the fact that when you give examples, it all relates to what happened to Southern
That's
and
not
your
true,
friends.
though.
I'm not even. It actually is beneath me to
But do you
even
understand
go
that that's
into a
not
back
true?
and forth of
That's
it.
not true though. Like I've been to Hampton. I've been to Texas Southern. I've been to
That's great,
Florida
but
A&M.
you
I've
didn't
been to
play.
Howard.
That's so.
I've seen these campuses everywhere.
I would never be like, I've been to all these HBCUs. I know exactly what it is
I
to
didn't
go
say
to
I know
HBCU.
exactly. I say I know what I know is the cultural fit
related
of these.
is related to your experience while you were at Southern. But that's
Can I
fine.
say something else?
That's fine. You
Can I
don't
say
know
one
about
last thing?
anything else. You don't know about going to conventions, a conclave. You don't know
I
what
know
it's like
about
to
all
do
of that.
meetings. You know what you've been told.
I know
you
what
have not
it is.
been
So
to
can I say something?
I don't even know why we argue this. I would never anything that you're a part of
You just
that
did
I've
it.
never been a part of.
HBCUs. You just
No.
You did Battle
I
of
said I
Bands.
would not do that. I can speak to Battle of the Band experience because one, I spent years, countless times going to Grambling Prairie View games, watching a battle of the bands. I grew up on it. It was a tradition. So I would only speak to watching Grambling and PV. I would never speak to Southern because I never went to the Bayou Classic. I wouldn't speak anything else outside of that because I don't know that. I know that as an observer for years. And then as a teenager going.
So how I grew up, the grown-ups would try to get you to join organizations. And you see people doing stuff and you like, what are they doing? My dad would say stuff like, oh, that's the fraternity. And it's not just them, it's the Masons too. And you go down like list after list into all of these different.
This is the epitome of the heel that hurts Black people. This is the epitome of the heel that hurts Black people. Oh, Erica, I know of wealthy Blacks. I know of when a person of my pedigree comes on here and tells you about my family, tells you about our history, tells you about, there's not a male in my family that doesn't own a house. I'm trying to think of two. There's two that don't own a house. They're in the military right now, running around. There's not a person that doesn't have this connection to land that's in my family, right? We have one or two bump ups, what we call bump ups, and that's who they are. They're just bump ups. We can call them screw ups. You can call them whatever you want. I call them bump ups. Like, I don't know if they bumped their head when they was little, but they the only two that don't want to act right in our whole family. When people who are from this culture, when I talk to y'all about military, and they be like, the military just send you out there to get shot and beat up and kick you in your head and this crazy stuff people start saying. And I go, you do know the military has over 700 jobs. You do know the military has this. You do know the military has that. Oh, I didn't know that. Shut up. Well, you didn't serve. You're just a military kid. Yes, but I can tell you about 4 or 5 different states. I can tell you about the environment, the climate. I was there. I participated. I was a kid. Like there is something when you meet other military kids, we'll see each other and be like, already know what's up. Oh, I grew up in Germany. Oh, I grew up in Japan. Oh, my daddy was born in Japan. Oh, both my grandparents were born in Japan. Oh, both my family was stationed in Japan 7 years. Oh, we were over here in Alaska too. Girl, what year were you in Alaska? Oh, girl, what year were you at Fort Bragg? What year were you in Maryland? Oh my God, yes. Like, the reason 90% of enlisted people are from the children of enlisted people is because people know the gameplay. I would never speak on, and I have made jokes in the past on Black sororities on here, but they at least get together and start banks. They'll at least get together and raise funds for the children. They'll at least drop off some turkeys. This is Black people's problem. There are Black men online every day on podcasts trying to tell y'all, nobody I know it messes with these type of women's. No. I'm sorry. This is the Achilles heel of Black people. When I meet northern Black people who try to say, well, y'all down there in the South doing this, that, hush. You were not from here. You didn't live here. You didn't grow up here. You don't even know what soul food is. You think soul food is fried chicken and mac and greens. That's not true. In the South, we barely ate heavy meat except for on Sundays. Why? Because the families had a lot of access to veggies, beans, rice, corn. Did you know there's Black farmers growing rice right now in South Carolina? Some of the wealthiest. Did you know that? Did you know there's Black people growing cornmeal in South Carolina? Some of the wealthiest. Did you know that? No, you didn't, because you're thinking all them people down there can't read. They're no good. You don't know that. You're from Chicago, and you ain't went all over Chicago. I went on a bus tour in Chicago, and the people was on the bus. There were 4 people from Chicago on the bus, and we're like, what y'all doing on the bus? They're like, we don't even go across town. They live in Chicago. They in their 50s. They don't even go across town. They on a bus tour of their own city. You cannot tell me about the South if you're from Chicago. You cannot tell me about the South if you're from New York and you got a cousin in Winston-Salem or something like that. You can't tell me about the South when you don't own land in these places. Just like I'll tell you about Detroit. Why? Because I put money in that city. I put 5 years of life in that city. I put money in that city. What you're going to experience as you go around this country is Black people who actually own and control and invest in these cities. We have the leeway to talk. You have the leeway to talk. Well, like the corner store won't do A, B, and C. What does that matter? You're talking to me about the corner store. I'm talking to you about the whole city and how your city's doing on taxes and properties and schools. I'm telling you, San Antonio schools are failing. That's why they have more private schools than ever. I'm telling you, parts of South Carolina is failing. That's why they have more private schools than ever. Mississippi's actually doing a turnaround. How are they doing a turnaround? They literally bought Hooked on Phonics for all the schools. Mississippi had a 23% 23% increase in reading levels by buying Hooked on Phonics and playing the videos in their schools in Mississippi in 1 year. That's how bad it is. So when people say to each other, I'm gonna tell you about the South poor, how is LSU pulling up $50 million every time they need a coach? How is Ole Miss paying $30 million when they need a new coach? There's money down here. This is the Achilles heels of black people. Well, I heard about it. I got a cousin that started a business. I know somebody do credit repair. Erica, I don't know. Baby, let me tell you, if you ain't lived it, if you ain't started it, if you ain't in it, you can't talk about it. That's the rules. That's like Fight Club. Were you in Fight Club? We don't talk about Fight Club. Was you there? Then you can say something. If you weren't there, you can't say nothing. And here lies the problem. There's a lot of white people talking about, we need to work on black crime. Do you live somewhere with black people? No. Where do you live? I live in Iowa. Do you live near any black people? No. But black people got to stop all this crime. Sir, be quiet. You sound crazy. You sound absolutely crazy. But this is our Achilles heel. We know about them groups. The reason black people love to know about something, be nosy about something, but they're not involved in the Masons. They're not involved in any fraternities. They're not involved in sororities. They're not involved in the business chamber of commerce. Like, you know how many black people I run across who I say something about their city and they're like, oh, I didn't even join the chamber of commerce. Why not? Then you don't exist in your own city. I've told y'all about my friend. He had a $5 million business, balling, him and his brother. The city was getting ready to tear the whole road up in front of his business. And they were trying to figure out what happened. They didn't call you? And he's like, no, they didn't call me. We asked him, are you in the Chamber of Commerce? Who's your city council representative? Who's the person over this district? He didn't know all them things. It took him 2 hours to run downtown, pay the Chamber of Commerce, talk to his city official, do all these things that he should have been already doing. Because, see, we think we're in the knowing because we got a business. My business makes $5 million. I don't care. I don't need employees. That's fine. But when they want to come tear the road up in front of your business, now you got to call somebody. Now you got to figure out all of a sudden who's the city council member, who's the Chamber of Commerce, who's your representative. Help me, help me. They about to take my $5 million away. This is why having a business isn't the only thing. This is why having a high-paying job isn't the only thing. You have to have some type of investments, some associations, some connections, some type of team. Some of y'all out here talking, I know what that's like. You do not, because you ain't on nobody's team. You don't know how to be a team player. You don't know how to act. So when people criticize black people going to some of these white events, I laugh. Because yes, can we make the equivalent ones? But it don't always be that easy, right? All right. It's just like, stop it. Knock it off. Here we go. This is important data for y'all. Nearly 500,000 Americans over 80 are still working. And I've told y'all on this channel, I've had people call me who are over 80, who are over, I would say, I had one lady 72, one lady 71, one lady 69. I had a couple more people. But I just want you to understand, these folks is out here still working. These folks are out here still working. Right? Now, if you're still in good health and you want to work, I'm not knocking it. Do what you do. But I promise you, there are a lot of people who are in areas where they just need an extra 1,000, extra 2,000. All right?
Just a group of black people with a bunch of money. And every time we talk about black people with money, it always comes up that they're trying to be white. And so I love Jack and Jill as an example because it is, again, literally an all black community. You can still be in community with black people that have money, but there isn't this code switching because you're already growing up in an environment with money. And once you reach a certain tax bracket, the norms and the lifestyle is pretty similar regardless of what your race is, especially if you've grown up in that. All that aside, everybody has to code switch. You don't act the same way at church as you do at work, as you do with your friends, as you do with your parents. It's called time and place. It's not just a black thing. You have to remember that there are black people with old money. In fact, a lot of black people who come from old money. So we don't all have to code switch. Mary Ellen Pleasant, a millionaire, was about 20 years older than John D. Rockefeller. She was a self-identified capitalist by profession and even helped build the Underground Railroad. James Fortin got rich and died before Cornelius Vanderbilt even made his money. And of course, you have Madam C.J. Walker. This is the same exact time as the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, and like I said, the Vanderbilts, what we consider to be American old money. Then you have exclusive organizations like Jack and Jill, which is literally just...
Again, Jack and Jill has 271 chapters nationwide, and they have over 50,000 family members. 50,000. Now you can say, well, that's not a lot. That's not a big number. That's not a big lot. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Whatever you say. Cool. All right. Whatever you say. Cool. Let me go here. Again, now this is not all at one time. This is not all at one time. This is at over the span of their lifetime. Interest, lending money, capital gains, buying and selling stocks at a profit, royalty, books, pictures, movies, dividends, buying dividend paying assets, rental income, profit income, flipping, e-commerce, earned income, working a job, a salary. Most people will only stay here. And then if they lose their job, oh my God, who has time to learn all these skills and trades? And who has time, Erica? People who don't want to be crying every time their job lets them go. That's who. That's who wants to learn skills trade. And I'm okay if you watch this channel and you don't want to start a business. That's absolutely fine. There's no shame in that. But be aware. When people are in America crying about they ain't got no money, the people looking at you with money are like, what you want me to do about that? Who cares? What do you want me to do about that? They don't care. They really, really don't care. Here's another one. This is David Stewart. He's the richest black man in America with a black wife and black kids. He generates over $20 billion a year in revenue. You know, again, you know, Stewart launched his company in 1990. It provides IT solutions to over 80 Fortune 100 companies, including Cisco, NVIDIA, and Verizon. Yeah. Okay. And, you know, just go ahead and look that up. Again, this is one I showed earlier. You know, they're going to hit me with their dirty sandals. I'm okay with that. Again, when you're like, Africa, come to Africa. And some people are going to say in the comments, well, Erica, it's a lower cost of living. Even more incentive to have $1 million. It's something so low cost of living. You should be making what? The most out of it. Y'all don't want to hear that though. Just like y'all don't want to hear about all these Indian people coming over to Africa and making money. Why? Just having a regular grocery store. Why? Because them Africans won't come in there and hit them in the head in their store. They don't do that to them. They might do it to you, but they ain't gonna do it to them. Okay. So again, you're in America, more expensive, harder to grow, harder to get up there. And actually now we're at 50 million African Americans, but I'm gonna leave that be. Again, you tell me what was the better. We do better in Africa. We would. Well, I'm not from Africa, and my generations ain't from Africa. You know, people been in America 400 plus years, so you're still telling them to go to Africa? Man, if you don't hit yourself in the head, hit yourself in the head. All right, so Ottawa announced a 5-year, $180 million revenue plan for Black entrepreneurship, so directing new loans, financing, and advisory support to Black business owners across the country. Now, here's the problem with this. In Canada, most of these people are Africans. They're not foundational Canadians. You know what I mean? They're not foundational Canadians. They're Somalians. They're Africans. Toronto has a huge Black population, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Congratulations, Canada. Congratulations. I mean, I guess that's what we say. Congratulations to them. Hold on, let me get to it. Oh goodness, where is it at? Hold on, let me see. Let me see where I can find it. Hold on, let me get to it. I'm gonna get to it. Hold on, give me a second. Dang. Okay, where is it at? Let me see. You know, when I be having stuff up here, boy, I tell you, I be having stuff set aside. It be running away on me. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Worth 30 million to 50 million after inflation. Number 4, John H. Johnson, 1940s to the 2000s. Ebony magazine, Jet magazine, Fashion Fair, real estate. A media empire that shaped Black culture for decades. Modern value, hundreds of millions after inflation. Number 3, Paul Cuffey and the Cuffey family, 1700s to 1800s. Global shipping empire during slavery. Fleets trading with Europe, the Caribbean, and Russia. Modern value over 100 million after inflation. Number 2, Jeremiah G. Hamilton, the Prince of Darkness, 1820s to 1875. The first black millionaire in his region and the only man controlling 1800s Wall Street. Modern value, 250 to 500 million after inflation. Number 1, A.G. Gasson, 1920s to the 2000s. Banks, insurance, real estate, construction, hospitality, education, media. No one built more diversified black wealth in his time. Modern value, 200 million to over $100 billion. This is our history. Follow for more Instagram Fuel for the Body. TikTok, Gabriel Masim. Woman to speak to university. Just DM.
All right. So again, last one was A.G. Gaston, who you think kept bailing out a lot of these black people and Martin Luther King and you name it. I saw this thought this cracked me up right here. People will pop pharmaceutical pills with all sorts of unknown side effects without a problem, but offer them something natural and they become researchers. Do you know how many times I say something like magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin B to my family? They're like, let me look it up. What does it do? It does better than you taking all the medicines from your daggone doctor. What it does. Oh my gosh. So let me show you this one right here. This is Jay York, Mortgage and Automation. Again, y'all can go look him up for yourself. Oh, let me refresh it. Y'all can go look him up. Again, talks about building and closing with automation. I don't know if y'all saw Business Insider today. A 30-year-old woman decided to quit from the law firm and she made a company. She raised 2.5 million, I think, overnight, over a short period of time, in AI for lawyers. They switching up this game, y'all. Switching up this game. Go check him out. Again, you're gonna have a lot of space for teaching people mortgages, land. There's just a lot of people are behind. They're behind as an adult. They're behind as whatever. We can say a lot. Let me go here. Again, prepare yourself to be offended.
Teachers are putting a spotlight on how high school students, and we're going to start with just high school students, how high schools don't know their home address. They couldn't tell you at all where they live. More than not being able to read a clock, they couldn't tell you how many seconds are in a minute, how many minutes are in an hour. Beyond not being able to write in cursive, one teacher said she had to stop assigning written assignments because the majority of her students' handwriting was so illegible she couldn't tell what was on the page. We're talking about their print handwriting. Our college professors saying that there are college students who cannot legibly print their name. There was a lot of discourse on how middle school teachers are having to teach kids how to tie shoes. First graders who can't get themselves in and out of cars, can't peel an orange,
You went over that girl house call?
aren't able to eat an unsliced apple, and afraid to use the bathroom because of how loud the toilets flush. Surprisingly, a hot topic that's being discussed right now is teachers saying kids can't do basic things anymore. Teachers are putting a spotlight on how high school students, and we're going to start with just high school students, how high schools don't know their home address. They couldn't tell you at all where they live. More than not being able to read a clock, they couldn't tell you how many seconds are in a minute, how many minutes are in an hour. Beyond not being able to write in cursive, one teacher said she had to stop assigning written assignments because the majority of her students' handwriting was so illegible she couldn't tell.
Y'all, I believe every single word of this man and most teachers, because I'm telling you, the public school is for the leftovers. I actually go to my Bible study inside of a private Christian private school, and the classroom size are like 10 to 15, and all of them have TVs, all of them have computers, all the updated stuff, but they have a whole thing about reading on this one wall. These kids are in high school and they're doing reading things. I'm trying to be nice, and so I don't name the school where I go to my Bible study. They have it on the wall. Like, they make these kids read a lot of books. Even if you may not think private school education is the best and it's all this great, they're making them read. You're literally having people go to college and telling you they can't read, and the school gets there and be like, what are you doing here? And they get out of college. And then they want to sue. That one Latino girl wanted to sue because she couldn't read. How did you fill out your application to get to college and can barely read? This is what employers are. This is why when people say, I say, hey, you guys are going to have to go get, some training. You're going to have to get some, blue collar skills. People are like, no, these companies better teach us how to do it. You're not a baby. You're not a baby. It's not these companies' jobs to teach you. What we have here is we're about to have a hardcore, hard left, K-shaped economy where people that are like, these jobs better teach me how to do something. They're going to be right at home. They'll starve you to death before they'll give you UBI. I want to be very clear. They will starve you to death before you get UBI. These aren't just black schools. These are white schools. These are white teachers on these videos. I just didn't want to bring a parade of videos of white teachers going, these kids can't tie their shoes. These kids are coming to kindergarten and Pampers. These people are gentle parenting. Like, it's getting bad. So when I tell y'all, like when people say, I don't know if I can start a business here, it's so hard. I'm like, you're literally competing with people who can't read. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Let me show you this right here. Again, I'm going to say it again. It depends on who is doing what in a town. It's going to prove where your income going to be at the next couple of years. Here we go.
And you're not building wealth. That's just a high paying job. Maybe 4 or 5 years, you bought a bunch of property, you build a net worth. The next graduation, I'd call it, is professor. And that's probably 5 to 7 to 10 years out. And that's land development. That's where the big boys play. There ain't nobody got super rich and wealthy. There's a wholesaler and flipper. The biggest players in real estate in any town are not wholesalers. They're not flippers. They're not landowners. They're developers. If you're just wholesaling and flipping, you're not building wealth. That's just a high paying job. Maybe 4 or 5 years, you bought a bunch of property, you build a net worth. The next graduation, I'd call it, is professor. And that's probably 5 to 7 to 10 years out. And that's land.
Now, maybe people are going to say, Erica, why should we care about who's developing, who's building? Again, I told y'all, I went to the Texas affordable housing. And the bulk of people, it was 1,700. Was it 1,800? I'd say about 1,800. And literally, it was maybe 60 black people in there. So you're telling me for the whole state of Texas, we got 60 black people and 1,700, whatever change, white and Latino people deciding how the state is shaped. Affordable housing, building projects, everything. This is why when y'all talk to me about, oh, yeah, I'm doing this and doing that, unless you have some land, some real estate, some components of those two, baby, it don't matter. They got plans for 10 years for Texas. They make these affordable housing plans in 10-year etches. They already have money set aside in these 10-year etches. I just want you to understand. They have lump sum money set aside. Now, I want to show y'all this because so many people say, well, Erica, what does that matter? What about, there's only 2% of black people that have 100K. Let me play this. It's up to 6% now. See, your favorite podcasters are telling you all kind of, this is misinformation. This. No, listen. Just gonna play it.
Black Americans make over $100,000 a year. This statistic is terrifying, but here's one way I think we could fix it. A really interesting point in this study is that Black Americans that had a bachelor's degree at least made that share rise to 16%, while those with some college education or less made that percentage drop down to 2%. Now, I know college is not for everybody. There are plenty of people out there that never went to college that are definitely earning far and above 6 figures. But if you're playing the game of probability, getting that 4-year degree is the most likely path that will lead you into a career where you're making at least $100,000 or more. If you aren't making $100,000 yet, follow me for more tips on how to build your career. And please share this post so more people can learn from this as well. Did you know that only 6% of Black Americans?
Now, people are like, no, it's less. Everybody's poor. You can go look at Career Calling on your own time. He's a former consulting chasing legacy, larger than a job title. What that means, I'm going to say that in layman's terms, it means I can recruit people and I can speak and do accommodation stuff that's going to pay me $250,000 to $300,000 a year. I keep telling y'all this, and y'all can be mad at me and y'all can be like, no, Erica, that's not true. Listen, I'm out here every day meeting black people who literally, I told you guys about the 2 medical doctors. One was white, one was black. All they were doing was helping families get their kids through medical school, help them apply, help them interview better. And they were charging parents $50,000. Who do you think type parents was talking to them? What do you think type parents saw a black man and a white country poor white boy who had got through medical school and made money? Like, what type of parents you think was dropping $50,000 on a black medical student boy and a white boy? Asian and Indian parents, because you know what they were thinking? If these two country bumpkins can get through medical school and be medical doctors, I might need to listen to them. I might need to see what they're going to do for us. They might be able to do something big. And I'm telling you. So they're sitting here going, yeah, we made $5 million this year, but we really had to cut back on some of our staff and focus on our residency. What happens is these people who go into corporate America do a quick assessment of, if I just have 10 clients at 20,000, I made my money for the year. If I just have 100 clients at $2,000 a year, if I just have this many people, again, and the difference is people be like, well, they have courses and community, they must be scammers. But see, they don't say that to some of these guys, because these guys are what? Corporate America. They have a degree. They have project management skills. They're teaching people how to get a job. What's about to happen? I'll just go over it again because there's 182 people here and we're wrapping the show up some here. What happened during the Great Depression and Harlem Renaissance? Several white Americans thought they were farther ahead than they really were. They were hanging on by a thread. A lot of the African Americans could fix things, had houses they turned into boarding rooms. They knew how to sew, they knew how to bake, they knew how to garden, they knew how to do etc., etc. Weld, build houses, put it all together. So guess what? They were fine. Cash was flowing. Of course, they looked at great suits. Of course, they looked really shiny and put together. Of course, they were putting perms in their hair. Malcolm Luther King and all them people. Malcolm X. Before he, changed his life. Of course, they were doing all that. They had the monies. They had the cash money burning a hole in their pocket. They still do. It's just different this time, right? When they burned down their cities and places like, well, y'all had all these Black Wall Streets. Where they at now? They burned them down and they didn't give them insurance money. That's what happened. They were traumatized. It's called the tall poppy. Go look it up. It's called tall poppy theory. In other countries, when one kid stands out, that kid's smart, that kid's bright, we take them down by the neck. We still do that in America. When a kid is smart, when they are bright, we assault them, we beat them up, we treat them bad in our public school system. We make the classroom for the slowest, lowest kid. And that's why when y'all tell me y'all kids are at public school, I'm like, God bless you. Because the classroom is designed for the guy who's on 3rd grade reading level and your child's in 9th grade. God bless you. Good luck. Why do you see all these people turning consultant and salespeople? Because they can. It's a math equation. It's a math equation. Let's play it again.
Entirety of 2024 in one weekend. So in early January, one of me and my wife's favorite things to do is grab a coffee, get some breakfast, and then head back to our apartment and plan the entire year. We start out with a financial review of the previous year. So we pull up our accounts, go through every single expense, and then compare our budget to our actuals, which as you can see here, there are a couple surprises. Before we start planning out 2024, we actually look back at 2023. We pull out our board from last year and review every single goal across 6 categories. Once we get done reflecting, we track all of our reflections in Notion just so we can refer to them in the future. Then we get to my favorite part of the entire day. Me and Kaylee sit down, and for all of those 6 categories, we literally write down every single goal we have, both as individuals and as a couple, for the entire year. These buckets are marriage goals, spiritual or emotional goals, financial goals, health and wellness goals, relationship goals, and career or business goals. After that, again, we'll have an open discussion about what each of these goals mean to us, when we think they may be accomplished, and then, like always, we track them in Notion as well. Then we set up monthly checkpoints throughout the year to keep us on track. Send this to someone you want to plan 2024 with to be the best year ever, and of course, follow me for more. This is how I plan the entirety of.
So you can go look at his page. I think she had a baby. I think there's an old video. I remember them like roasted. Your wife is black, and I'm like, what that gotta do with anything? We know what it got to do with stuff, but that ain't the point. What I'm trying to get people to understand is, what you'll watch out here is a lot of these creators, they do get a little bit more pro-black as they go along the way. Doesn't mean their spouse ain't white.
We don't do Nike Tech. We don't do coffee. It's straight quarter zips and monsters around here. He was talking about putting on a Nike Tech to come outside. I told him, what are you doing? Upgraded in like
This cracks me up because, again, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get out of here. But I want you to understand, like, go look up him, go look up Xavier. I mean, these people exist. If they don't exist in your sphere, like you don't know any black people like this, you have to really start asking questions about yourself. Why don't you know any black people like this? You don't know none? Interesting. You don't know no black farmers. Interesting. You don't know anybody black in corporate. That's interesting. That's kind of interesting, right? So, this, I got to finish off with some salty smart mouth here. Y'all know y'all love him. Let's go one more time.
You are not going to become rich tomorrow.
26 days to get rich in 2026.
If you are trying to make these huge, gigantic leaps, you're never going to be able to do them because there's no plan there. There's too much distance between where you are at today and where you are trying to go. You have to break it up into smaller parts. Earlier, we talked about your goal being a very specific number. And depending on that number, if you're really trying to make $1 million plus, you are not going to know all the steps that go in between where you are now and how to get there. So again, you have to start at the smallest, most immediate steps. So if we go back to your $1 million idea, the smallest immediate steps are going to be things like writing out the full idea, how it would work, what it would look like, how it's going to make money specifically. You might even create a little draft. You go in PowerPoint, you do some mock-up pictures and things like that. Maybe you use AI to kind of mock it up. Write how much it would cost realistically to start this idea. Write down all of the skills that you need for this idea. And then once you've written all of that down, continue elaborating. So if I need these skills, where are some places that I could get them? Could I learn them? If I can learn them, you start learning them. Stuff that's free, stuff that's already available. You don't need to have money. You don't need to have resources. This is just basic things to get yourself organized, to make sure that your idea is airtight. Maybe you run it through ChatGPT and play around with it and see how you can make it a better idea. Just very small, tiny little things.
Okay, why I've been talking about this? I've been talking about this for a long time. A lot of people say, well, Eric, I want to do A, B, and C. And I go, is it written down? Is there a plan? Is there a goal? What's the next step you have to take? And people will look at me like I'm crazy. What do you mean write it down? I just told you. It's inside your head. It don't mean anything until you start writing it down. Again, I sit down. I literally have my planner right here beside me. I have two, one, a big one, a little one. I literally write down for the whole year next year what we're going to do. Do I get to do everything I put on my list? Hell no. But do I have some non-negotiables? Yes. Summer trips with the family. Next year is a robust growth year. It's a multimillionaire year, but if you're in my inner circle or you're in a land grab course, you'll hear some of that kind of rhetoric and talk. I'm getting ready to go have lunch next week with a guy who just did 8 million last year. He's like down the street, like, oh yeah, sure, let's meet. Now, most people say, well, did you have to pay him? No, I didn't do any of that. You know why? Because he actually took a look at, man, you've got 10 years of social media. You're doing this and you're over here building this project. Well, come on, let's go eat. Let's go talk. It wasn't even a question. Let me show you this and then let me get it out of here. Let me see. I'm going to show y'all something that has just like massive traction. This one first and the other thing. Families lose $6,000 a year to lazy tax prep. Don't do it. You know who you should call? Brandy Williams. Get your taxes done, right? But this is what Budget Dog said. Set a reminder for January 31st. This should be your tax checklist for every account you own. Job, W-2, right? Side hustle, 1099. Bank accounts, 1099 INT. Retirement accounts, 1099R. Yes, interest from savings is taxable. Okay. Hyperlink your accounts. Hyperlink your logins. All right. CPA notes. Your CPA doesn't know your life. Let me say it again. Your CPA don't know your life. Book a call with Brandy, right? HSS contributions, major life changes, any K1s coming late, home office square footage, business miles for the year. Are you missing anything? You could be saving thousands. Create a desktop folder with personal documents, business documents, CPA notes. Most people only talk to their CPA in April. That's just when filing happens. Tax planning, mid-year check-in, June. End-of-year check-in, November. Max out before December 31st. IRA, $7,000. 401k, $23,000. HSA, $4,300 single, $8,550 for a family. Make 100K pre-tax. That can save you 6K right there. Okay. Listen, y'all can go ahead out there and talk to who you need to. Where's that other thing? This is what's been popular and viral. I just want to show y'all how this is what your local community is worried about. Let me play this for you.
Working at the bank, this is one thing that I thought was amazing that I was taught. So you know how if you go into a gas station or convenience store, the hair salon, the nail salon, sometimes you'll like see the little piece of paper by the terminal that said that your transactions need to be over a certain amount or whatever. Well, when Visa came in, Visa said, absolutely not. You better report them. They said they are not supposed to do that. The benefit of having the Visa MasterCard product or whatever is you can swipe your card for any amount. Now, the fees and everything that's being charged is being on the merchant's behalf, and they trying to save money or put it on y'all to actually be able to pay it, and it needs to be above a certain amount. So the guy said, he said, report them. He said, it's easy. Go to the website, report them. And so they would get in trouble for that. So next time you go into like the hair salon or something like that, and you see that little sheet of paper that's on there, swipe your card and let them know, like, and if you try to charge me, I'm gonna call Visa and see what happened. I'm just letting you know. So after 23 years of working at the bank, this is one thing that I thought was amazing that I was taught. So you know how if you go into a gas station or convenience store, the hair salon, the nail salon, sometimes you'll like see the little piece of paper by the terminal that said that your transactions need to be over a certain amount or whatever. Well, when Visa came in, Visa said, absolutely not. You better report them. They said they are not.
Now, why am I bringing this up? Why does this matter? This went viral for the woman and viral for Robbie, who shared it again. Y'all at these corner stores mad about these people with this $5. I'm not trying to be funny. I get it. It's important, but I just want you to understand this is where people are right now. They're mad about swiping their card for $5 at the corner store. That's where they are. Nothing wrong with it. You can go check out Robbie's whole page. I'm not knocking any of that, but that's where your community is right now. Worried about that. Let me show you what should you do in response to this? You should be on this end. This is Paul Alex. All he doing is teaching people how to build ATM and credit card processing. Credit card processing. A lot of these people, they getting put out by the bank. Stuff is going left and right for them. This is not a promotion for him. I'm not an affiliate. I do know this person, but I'm not promoting him. Okay. I'm just saying people be like, well, who would want to get a merchant cash? Don't people know they can just go to the bank and get their own swipe machine? Don't they know they can just go to Stripe and get the machine? Don't they know they can just do Square Up and get the machine? No, they don't. And this is why I keep telling y'all the Latinos are going to eat your lunch, because they're going to go to every little Latino shop. Do you need a swipe machine? Oh my God, yes. Somebody called Visa on us for making them swipe for more than $5. And we lost our swiping abilities. Trust me, this is happening. This is going to be a big thing. Y'all don't think it is, but Stripe kicked a bunch of people off. A lot of people kicked off. His wife is very beautiful. But if you look at, you look at this content, y'all think, oh no, who would need that? Lots of people, right? But y'all can check any of this stuff. You can check any of this stuff. Okay. Check it on your own. But did I get the last one? I think I did. That's good enough. I think it is. Oh, wait, I had to do one more slap in the face to the Somalis. Sorry. Last one. You tell me where you meet 77 black people, who African-American, foundational Americans that got together and put a scam up this big. Let me go and play
The
this.
feds plan to seize the building where the store is located because they say Kamara used fraud money to buy it from his landlord.
I'm Lou Bragoose. Follow for more news.
The 77th person is now charged in the $300 million Feeding Our Future meal fraud case. Usman Kamara runs a very popular grocery store in North Minneapolis on Broadway Avenue called Kay's Dollar Grocery and Deli, or Kay's African Market. That's where federal prosecutors say Kamara claimed to serve 300,000 meals to kids during the pandemic. The indictment says that never happened, and he stole $1 million meant to feed hungry kids. The feds plan to seize the building where the store is located.
Now you're going to say, well, Erica, why are you bringing up? That's just $1 million. That's not important. Oh, y'all didn't know? They've actually stolen almost $500 million. They have 77 Somalians in Minnesota. Yeah. Who said they were feeding basically half the city. You know what I mean? Anyways, this is why it's important for Americans who are from America, who are born in America, to literally apply, to literally get, to literally get yourself together. If you want to apply for government grants, go ahead, because that's what they're giving them to anybody. You want to hear and cry about stuff? Again, this is Black people's Achilles heel. I know about government contracting. How do you get up every day and apply for it? No. Okay, then be quiet. Please be quiet. Please be quiet. Your mindset determines what you see. This is facts on facts. I'm gonna read you guys' comments and wrap it up out of here. Because I do respect you guys' time. I love that you guys come in and share this stuff with me. I try to make this stuff funny, but entertaining and educational all at the same time. They not at adult sports or cigar bars. They at the the jit clubs. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not playing with y'all. Some people haven't heard of the book Our Kind of People, not that TV show for the masses. Exactly. Paper-bound tests. Paper bag tests on some people. If you didn't pledge, you really can't speak on Greek life. Facts. I pledged, and I pledged white girl fraternity, sorority, and we'll have stories on that on another night. Anyway, Van Latham just talks about factual context. His experience is not all there. It is. If you've been through it, talk it. Okay. You need to rewrite that for me a little bit better. I believe the military is one of the best choices a person can make, especially if they don't come from money. Facts. My mother and father served in the Navy in Norfolk. Military life is different. Very. I think exposure is one of the biggest issues. How do you know if you've never seen it or don't know anything about it? Facts. And you ain't left no town. This is like hearing the neighborhood dude talk about doughboy money. Be in the room with farm families, land and business owners. Let me know dude does not know what real money looks like at all. You know, the average drug person they don't make no money. They told you long ago when they broke the math down. You going to jail for 20 years for 30 grand? Like, well, you ain't made no money. I come a family of Masons and OES members. We are heavily involved in the community and doing wonderful work. Most people these days just all talk, but no experience or skin in the game. Yeah, growing up, our family participated in church here that's very wealthy in the Carolinas. And I'm talking about elections. Like when y'all say, oh, Erica's just talking about Donald Trump all of a sudden. No. Baby, when I was 11, 12, 13, 14, when we were here, I had to stand outside and hand out the pamphlets and smile like, have a good voting. Here's your voting sticker. I had to do all that. See, the people that really do this, the families that really come from this, like at some degree, y'all be like, man, they're obnoxious because we actually have skin in the game. We actually do stuff. That's the difference. Like we've actually seen it. You know, we've actually done it. The western suburbs have parents renting apartments to be intrinsic or paying $16K to pay out of the district, especially if they can't test into Bennett play in almost $16K a year. Yeah. I mean, when I worked at an apartment off 620 in Austin, Texas, people were living in that apartment complex for 6 years. And I was like, this is weird. And I would talk to them. They're like, we cannot afford a house in this neighborhood, but we want our son to go to this school district. So they're paying this apartment rent for 6 years straight, complaining about appliances because they really can't afford the neighborhood over here, but they're over here. So when people sit here and try to act like white people are so wealthy, I'm like, baby, I've been in the apartment industry for too long. I've seen too much. No, they're not. Old money moves silently and powerfully because it has access to people who can make things happen. Facts. When I see people protesting, when I see people online like, share this video of this cop treating me bad. No. A couple phone calls. You need a lawyer. There's like one black dude running around showing how the town's doing him dirty. And I'm like, brother, where's your lawyer? Stop showing me this crap. Show me your lawyer. And when you show me about your lawyer, then we can talk about it. Until then, ain't nothing to talk about. You showing everybody, look at how they're doing me. Where's your lawyer? And people in the comments be like, ain't no lawyer going to support this. I'm like, the way y'all behave online, I can see why not. Doing the most. I'm from Mississippi. There are men here that can fix anything and build anything. You just have to catch them before they get a couple beers, before they smoking a little crack or weed. Baby, that's the sad part because it's true. That's they on the Mondellos. My family has a long history of owning and fighting over land, private school, divine non-. You already know. Congratulations. Ashy thong sandals. You already know. Grand leader. There you go. I'm just saying. I'm tired of people stepping around it. They won't step on it. If you want to go to Africa, where is the rescue mission was? Our church does a couple. They used to do one country and then they started doing Uganda. And when the kids told me where they went, I was like, why are we paying almost $15K per kid, and we would send like 20 kids plus the adults and the supervisors on this mission. They're like, oh, we're trying to encourage the kids to know the difference of how blessed they are in America. And I'm like, Uganda got a whole car dealerships and it's very well to do. What are y'all talking about? But of course, they would send them to the parts of Uganda where it's a little raggedy village in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to be quiet on that. Because when Oprah and them are like, we're going to Africa, I'm like, girl, you could go down to Mississippi, take over a town and educate everybody in the town. Right? When Oprah wanted to come redo a whole school in this South Carolina school, they didn't want to do it. It took the governor. It took some people behind the scenes. It took, what's that dude's Stewart name that used to do TV with the glasses that got canceled? It took him saying, I want this done where I'm from in South Carolina for them to accept Oprah's money. That's what I want y'all to understand. Y'all in some of these towns where Oprah come through with $1 million and they telling her we don't want her money. So y'all can't really tell me nothing because y'all... Y'all not really dealing with the people y'all got that's giving y'all problems where y'all are right now. So I don't want to hear it. Honey, listen. Cell phones show what? That digital clock. Yeah, he did write that book. He did. Many teachers are quitting, but I mean, it's asking too much for you to have to train a child in the 8 hours you have at school. And then parents get online with their chest poked out. You can't tell me this ain't your kid. This is my kid. Baby, you see that kid for about 2 hours. You feed them and you put them into bed and tell them to go to bed and leave you alone. We know what's going on in your homes. It's evident in the schools. Kids can't read. They cannot read. They're fighting. They don't have comprehension. They're scared to walk down the street. They can't ride bicycles. We see this stuff, y'all. We see it. Ooh, baby. But that's, and this is, okay, so this is a perfect example of what I want to say. He said, y'all think this is bad. Wait until the generation that is raised using and trusting AI to do everything comes of age. This is where the money's coming in right now. I don't want to do this from just like, oh, greedy money perspective, but all the money that people are making writing these books of stuff people's grandma taught them. Hey, slice the onion, put it on your baby's foot to make the fever go down. Here, take this detox, drink this. All these people are going to make so much money because the average person, they didn't listen when grandma was alive. So now grandma passed and they're like, oh, what do I do with my baby? Boom. Babies, kids. There's a generation of girls and guys reading, right? Not everybody. We got a big problem here, but there are a lot of them who like put in a video and I'll read it and I'll study. That's how they're doing these shortcuts. So you're going to have a lot of money in supplements. You're going to have a lot of money in herbal teas, a lot of money in anti-government stuff coming up here over the next couple years. Yeah, Julia Santes tomorrow. You don't need to read. You just need to know how to business and do math. That's what you got. That's when people tell me about New York. That's what I think of. I think of Jim Jones, Julia Santes, Mace, P. Diddy. I think of special Negroes when y'all tell me about New York. I'm sorry. I know y'all gonna be like, Erica's the worst. What's funny about whenever I make jokes about California or New York, my number 1 and number 2 students are from New York. Number 2 set of students are from California. Number 3 are from Ohio and Detroit. No, Ohio, then Detroit is number 4. Number 5 is like Florida. Number 6 is Georgia. Number 7 is Alabama. So when I be talking smack about these states, I know y'all be like, well, damn, America. Like I would go to events for Charm City buyers in Baltimore and more people in the room would know me than would know them. And they'd be like, how? Content just travels, right? I don't have a lot of y'all. I know what time it is. I grew up in a tall poppy regime and that includes relatives, ones of whom I had to check this past Thanksgiving. I should so but thank them for saving me airline money for next few years. You know what, Xantos Clutch? You have to check people. And everybody in my family be like, no, Erica, don't do it. Be kind. Give grace. No, I got to check you. Because anybody who goes out in this country and makes money independent of a job and builds something and works with people and works with a community and owns real estate and does all these things, they are entitled the respect they deserve. They just are. And you may not like that, but they are. Because it takes a lot in this country as a minority. Shoot, I'm a triple minority. Indian, Native, Black, woman, shit, military kid, like you name it. Parent died, like grandma died. Like you, by the time you get up certain levels, this is not oppression Olympics, but just to take a few steps in a positive direction, you should be applauded. But people don't want to hear that. Consulting is big in my area. They get a degree and either funnel them into big three or help them get started out helping small companies as an individual or specialized consultant. And I'm telling y'all, that's what more and more people are going to do with these MBAs. They're just going to cut across this and get to the $200,000, $300,000 range. Then they know, okay, well, I just need a couple rentals. Okay, after I get a couple rentals, what else can I do? I'm going to do this, you know? I'm petty. Yeah, report them. Call them. They'll get enough of it. They'll get enough of it. Just submitted another Fed proposal night. Congratulations. Tom Rivers has 76 pages of tax liens. You already know what time it is. I keep telling y'all, it's the fall. I've been talking about it for 11 years now. These clowns still walking around with stacks of money. Listen, let them. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I definitely remember having the onion in stock as a child. Yeah. When all these black people pass away, they're going to act like, what are you talking about? Slavery? 1960s? We weren't that bad. You were. There's too many black people alive telling you how bad it was. That's why they can't shift the narrative, right? Like the History Channel don't show you nothing on history. Now they show you a bunch of alien thoughts and conspiracy theories. Show me history. The History Channel don't even want to show you what's going on in America anymore. You know what I'm saying? Bone thin brains, Jimmy. That's what I think of New York. I either think of very successful New Yorkers or Jim Jones. I'm like, that's what y'all got up there. Jim Jones and black men who speak Spanish. Who'll be like, no, I'm not black. I'm Dominican. Oh, okay. I'm Puerto Rican. Oh, okay. That's what I see when I go to New York. All right, you guys. I think I've been saucy enough tonight. You guys have a wonderful evening. Again, y'all know what time it is. You know, as we wrapping this year up, y'all, I don't think y'all ready for what I keep telling y'all, but it's going to be fantastical. If you're in the live training on the 6th or the 20th, that's inside the land grab special. It's usually $497. It will be $97, I think, for a couple more days. I'm not for certain. Also, you can book some calls there from the calendar link. It goes 45 days out. That's just enough time. And then also the funding bundle, we've helped people get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in there. You can go check that out. We have in the live trainings, people telling you how much they got. It's super crazy. Oh yeah, I have a whole show on Omni and the Hellcat. I'm saving it. Omni and the Hellcat already got on his Instagram. We're looking for people to be photo and videographers. So his wife and them are already working the social media. He's fine. I kept telling y'all, like, I'm not advocating for white collar crime in no way, capacity, or snitching. I'm not advocating for any of that. But I'm telling you, the way that you can sit in jail, and he probably talked to 4 or 5 older white dudes and was like, oh, I got to do that. Invest in that. Okay, cool. It's the cars that catch y'all every time. Y'all want to have 20 sports cars in front of your house for who and for what? That's that ghetto. That's that ghetto holding you back. But anyway, this is your girl, Erica, Classic Clown Blog. You guys have a great night. You guys are great. Thanks so much for the support of the channel.
Whether you're launching a business or leveling up your personal finances, Williams Accounting and Tax Services has you covered. From book cleanup and tax prep to strategic advisory, business setup, and our empowering tax academy, we're a full-service accounting firm. I'm Brandy Williams, an IRS enrolled agent with over 20 years experience. Visit us at williamsacttax.com. We look forward to working with you.